when you eat a diet that's full of carbohydrates and that's low in animal fat and animal proteins, and you're sedentary and therefore losing muscle mass, you're going to have low T. That's just going to happen. Okay. Now, in the past, we would say, oh, as you get older, your testosterone goes down. But I have trouble honoring that trope anymore, because I've seen multiple hundreds of men in their 50s, 60s, and even 70s. I've got guys in our private group, they have a T-shirt that says "kicking ass after 70" to honor the book, but they're like, I'm way past 50 and I'm still kicking ass. And so what we see is when you have a sedentary guy eating a high carb diet, you check his testosterone, it's 250 or 200 or 150. And you put that guy on a fatty red meat diet. And then once he's eaten that diet long enough that he's actually lost some weight, lowered the inflammation, lowered the insulin, and now he's feeling better, to get up out of the recliner, to get up off the couch, and he starts to lift heavy things, right? Join the gym and work out, or just go out in the garage and lift 2 car batteries. I don't care. It doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to stress your muscles and stress your bones. Start sprinting in the backyard. You can wear your work boots for all I care. I don't care. I just want you doing hard things physically. When you start to do that, we've got guys in our private group who have increased their testosterone with no testosterone injections, no pellets, no creams, anywhere from 50 up to 400 points. Documented before and after total testosterones went up 400 points after 3 months of carnivore and lifting heavy things. Now, for the vast majority of guys, if you raise their testosterone 400 points, huzzah, they don't need any other help. But there are some guys that even after they've done it all, carnivore and lifted heavy things, it'll only go up 50 or 100 points, and then they're still hanging out at 250, 300, 350, and they're just still don't feel like it. And I'm 100% an advocate. After you've done the work, you've done carnivore and you lift heavy things for 90 days, if your T is still low, go find somebody that does bioidentical hormone optimization and get your testosterone optimized. There's not a shred of research that proves that optimizing your testosterone increases your risk of heart disease. There's not a shred of research that shows that it increases your risk of prostate cancer. All of that is bullshit that's based on the same epidemiological research that we started this conversation with. When you actually look at the hard data, there's either no proof either way with testosterone optimization that it causes or prevents, or there's actually research that shows that it prevents heart disease or prevents prostate cancer if the testosterone you're replacing with is bioidentical.
Do you recommend when men get to a certain age, they go and have testing done to objectively see where their testosterone level is, or should they just base it symptom-wise?
And if
the latter, what symptoms should they keep an eye out for?
Yeah, I used to recommend that, Jesse. Everybody after the age of 50, you need to have this checked. But now I'm coming to see that if you feel great, if you sleep great, if you're full of energy, full of motivation, if the most attractive thing in your house is not the recliner, right? If you've got somebody who you've got your sexual eye on and you're taking care of business in the bedroom, I don't give a damn what your total testosterone, your free testosterone, your sex hormone binding globulin. If all that stuff is working, if this is working, if both heads are working, I don't really think it's mandatory that you get those tests checked, because I've seen time and time again, I'll check a guy and his testosterone is 450, let's say, but he's rocking life, rocking mentally, physically, sexually, everything is on. And then we'll replace it and get him up to 800. He comes in 3 months later, he's like, I still feel great. I don't feel any more greater, right? It's the guys with symptoms. And I think this goes for women with menopause too. I think there are women who are going through menopause, documentable by checking their labs. They feel fine. They got no symptoms. They don't have any problem sleeping. Everything's fine. I don't think they necessarily need to optimize their hormones. I don't think that's been proven that they need that. And indeed, women, they would come anyway and say, well, I feel great, but my friend got these pellets and I want to get them too. And I'm like, well, I don't think it's going to hurt you. And we would do it. They'd be back 3 months later, like, I couldn't tell any difference at all. I still feel just as great as I did before. That's kind of de facto evidence that me raising that man's total testosterone from 450 to 850, I didn't really benefit him, did I? Did I hurt him? I don't think I hurt him. No, I don't think it damaged or harmed, but I also don't think it was worth the money and the time and the inconvenience. So if anybody out there, if you feel amazing, everything works right, your brain, everything, go live your life and have fun. Go outside and play. But if you're not feeling as good as you think you could, you better get the full lab panel that I talk about in the book Common Sense Labs, and you better start honoring the principles that we talk about in Kicking Ass Over 50. And you better start watching some of my YouTube videos, because your default setting is good health. That's your default. And if you're not enjoying good health, you're doing something that's tripping up your body, that's tripping up your metabolism, that's tripping up your physiology.
You mentioned sleep there. That's another one of the things you mentioned in the book. And obviously that's tied to health as a whole too. But if somebody is suffering right now with low T, that's something else they want to be tuned into and making sure they're getting restorative sleep. I think in the book you say at least 7 hours a night.
Yeah. And so the research, again, somewhere between 6 and 9 hours a night. And I think for that, like every other thing in human physiology, there's a normal distribution curve. Some people need 9 hours a night. Some people can get by beautifully on 6 hours a night with no seeming harm. But low T and poor sleep, they go hand in hand. And I think there's a causative element to both. I think if you got low T, you're not going to sleep as well. I think if you have poor sleep, your T is going to be lower. Which is the chicken and which is the egg, I don't care, and I don't know, and I also don't care. I just want you to have great sleep and have a high enough testosterone level that you feel great. And that's the victory. And so for some guys, cleaning up their sleep hygiene and making sure they're doing everything right, starting when the sun goes down, from between then and bedtime, also actually starting when the sun comes up, getting that morning sun on their face. That's actually when you start to have good sleep. Every morning, get out in the sunlight. I don't care if it's cloudy, snowing, raining, go outside. Because people don't realize this, but on the cloudiest day outside, it's 100 to 1,000 times brighter than inside your house with every single light in the house turned on bright. It's 100 to 1,000 times brighter outside on the cloudiest, snowy day. And our eyes adjust so quickly that most people, that when you say that, they're like, there's no way that's true. And they have to go look up the lux. They're like, oh shit, that is true. Yeah. And so that morning sunlight on your face every morning, that's one of the first steps to getting better sleep. And then when the sun goes down, your blue light needs to start going down. I'm not a fan of wearing the orange blue blockers all day long. I think that's stupid. Sorry. Yeah, I hope you don't do that, Jesse. But starting when the sun goes down, I do think you need to start thinking about the amount of blue light that's hitting your retina, because you have receptors in there that's looking not only at the color of the light, but also the intensity of the light. And so in our house, we've got a 15-month-old and a 4-year-old and a 54-year-old and a 30-something-year-old, right? When the sun goes down, we start dimming lights and we start switching to red light, not just for me, for my testosterone, not just for Nisha, for her estrogen, but for Beckett and Bonnie, for their developing bones and their developing brains. They need to mimic the pattern that our species has been mimicking for the last 300,000 years. Drink clean water, breathe clean air, eat red meat, and when it gets dark, it's dark. And when the sun comes up, you go out and play in it. That is a proper human life. And when you do those key things, everything gets better. And you start to realize health that you maybe thought was gone forever at any age.
All right, Ken, we're going to end on this, staying with testosterone here for another minute. For somebody that's tried the things that we've talked about, they're getting a good sleep, they're eating, low carb, red meat, and they're lifting heavy things, but they're not getting that level up. They're only seeing a little bit of an improvement. Before they go to replacement therapy, actually, the drug route, are there natural supplements or anything else you can recommend before they go all the way there?
Yeah, there are several things that you'll hear promoted out there on the interwebs and websites and articles, but there's very little research to support any of the natural supplementation to improve testosterone. There's very little research support. And people, I talk about anthropology in the past so much, people think, well, he must not care about it. No, I definitely care very much about the latest research on all these subjects. The same for women in menopause, all of the evening primrose and all this and that. The research is equivocal. And I tell everybody, before you go the pharmaceutical route, absolutely try every single herb and supplement that you can try, plus eating red meat and lifting heavy things, right? And getting good sleep. But then if the supplement route, if it doesn't play out for you, and I can't promise you, oh, if you'll take this specific supplement, it's going to, no, because there's just no research to support that. All I can say is, well, if you want to put off the pharmaceutical route, try this first. Here's the following things to try. And I know a list of those just like you do, Jesse. And half the guys say, I couldn't tell that helped at all. 10% say, I think that maybe helped a little bit. Some will go check their labs. Yeah, it came up 50 points. Was that just lab error or did it actually help? I don't know. We don't have enough research to show one way or the other. So I don't talk about those things a lot, but I'm 100% advocate. Try every non-pharmaceutical method before you finally take the pharmaceutical leap. And yeah, I absolutely believe in that paradigm. You don't ever go to the doctor for pharmaceuticals until you've exhausted every other natural thing that you can try. Absolutely believe that.
Earlier, when you were talking about numbers for testosterone, you got into the fact that it's going to be different for different people, and it's not necessarily the number that matters. But for people who want to have that baseline, I know there's free testosterone, and then what are the two different ones? There's two different tests there for testosterone. What baseline number should people at least know to base where they're at off of?
Yeah. So the total testosterone is what every doctor who's practicing anywhere close to standard of care, that's what you use to diagnose low testosterone. And then also you recheck that to check ongoing testosterone replacement therapy. Insurance companies will actually yell at you if you're using free testosterone to manage somebody. I've actually gotten letters before because I always check a total testosterone, a free testosterone, and a sex hormone binding globulin. But there's no research to support checking free testosterones or sex hormone binding globulin, even though I think they're important. The insurance companies, if you're trying to file insurance for low testosterone, and there is an ICD-10 code for that diagnosis, and then you can get reimbursed if it's low enough, but they keep lowering the number, right, before they'll cover it. But it's total testosterone. That's for the vast majority of doctors who practice this. That's the number they're looking at. And so when I first started doing testosterone optimization back in 2003, if your total testosterone was under 350, then insurance that was officially hypogonadism. They would cover the treatment. Now it's 249. They've dropped 100 points off. So unless your testosterone is 249 or lower, most of the big insurance companies will not reimburse. Medicare will not reimburse for you to treat that as a medical condition. And I predict they'll lower it even more because they don't want to treat that. And then also getting back to kind of what the unspoken thing that you and I have been talking about this whole time is why in the world would Harvard School of Public Health be recommending a diet that's going to make people metabolically sicker? Why would the insurance companies, why would Medicare be okay with men's testosterone continuously getting lower? I don't know why. But I mean, there are people out there who have theories about this, but at some point, a common sense, rational adult's going to go, what the heck is going on here? Right, Jesse?
If you enjoyed that clip, press here for the full episode. I'll see you over there.
Any disease you can think of that's chronic and progressive, it's being caused by hyperglycemia, hyperinsulinemia, and chronic inappropriate levels of inflammation. Your default setting is good health. And if you're not enjoying good health,